First, he says that now is not the right time to pass this resolution because dolphin killing does not violate any international rules or law. However, he fails to address the UN's definition of genocide that I explained in my last speech. Under Article 3 of the UN Convention and Punishment of the Crime of Genocide, any one of these actions is punishable by the UN and something that the violating country can be held accountable for. All of his analysis on why the UN doesn't have the right to issue a resolution falls here. You can sign your ballot for me right now. Additionally, even without this analysis, he never gives us a single reason why the UN should not act on moral ground alone. All of the great revolutions for freedom in history have been founded on actions that were not covered under law, such as slave abolition and women's rights movement. Turn that it takes such actions based on moral rightness to get the laws on the books in the first place. He goes on to say that my plan for a resolution is to work on current treaties are mutually exclusive because we can't simultaneously pass resolutions based on morals while also updating rules and treaties. Extend my analysis of these actions are most effective when they happen together, and that without a marriage to moral rightness, legal issues are never discussed in the first place in order to become laws. The perm is still viable. He says that this UN resolution would be a violation of the rights of Japanese hunters. This is a direct quote. I have a huge problem with this, the least of which is that he continues to invest himself back into the unrefuted anthropocentrism critical arguments from my last speech. Furthermore, this is clear evidence that my opponent values the rights of the murderers more than those of their victims. This logic quite frankly disgusts me as it excuses the massive genocide being committed on dolphins in Japanese waters and is a very obvious example of my opponent believing that even scummy human beings should be valued above innocent dolphins. Next, he goes on to argue that the UN cannot reject civil code and law. Again, they have the grounds to pass a resolution or take any action they want in the world where dolphin hunting can be considered genocide, which it must be in this round since my opponent never refuted it. Even if you, the judge, don't personally buy that dolphin hunting falls under international genocide laws, the only impact my opponent can give on the UN violating Japanese sovereignty is the downfall of the geopolitical system. 3 responses to this. First, this is a new argument in his rebuttal. Second, there is no links raised to why violating sovereignty leads to geopolitical collapse, so even if he flowed this new argument, he's not telling us how or why it actually happens. And third, even if you buy that geopolitical collapse is still viable, he doesn't tell me why geopolitical collapse is a bad thing. I'm a radical. I think it'd be pretty swell. Finally, if you did not want to vote on any of that, you can vote on the loose answer critique I present. This critique is 100% dropped. He drops that he is practicing anthropocentric logic in the round, probably because he knows he is doing it. He drops every impact on the critique, and he drops the alternative that we should embrace a biocentric view of the world around us and that removes humans from the center of it. Looking back to my criterion, remember that it was ethics through equality. This criterion was accepted by my opponent, so as you determine which debater has best upheld the criterion throughout the round, there is no other way to vote but proposition.